I'm Janet and I'm at Barnyarns, and today we're going to talk about batting.
Hey, I've been let loose in this absolute paradise of interfacing and interlining and wadding, and I can't believe that I can just look at it and see all these lovely things that I don't know what half of them are.
So we're going to look at 3 different varieties and see how they compare. So we're going to talk about turning your basic quilt topper that you have carefully made into a quilt sandwich in preparation for finishing your quilt. How to take your quilt to the next level. So I've got 3 different varieties of batting here. I've got a Vlyceline 279, I've got a Hobbs Premium, and I've got a Warm and Natural. They're all very similar in their makeup in that they're cotton, mostly cotton with a polyester content. I think 2 of them are 80% cotton and 20% polyester, and one of them, which I can't remember which, is the Warm and Natural is 87% cotton and the rest is polyester. They're all made in very much the same way. They all feel quite similar, so it's very much a choice of what they do that's different. One of the major differences in them is the distance that you can leave between the quilting. On the Vlyceline one, you can leave it 20 centimetres apart. On the Hobbs, it's only 8 centimetres apart, and on the Warm and Natural, it's 10 inches. Very confusing when some are in inches and some are in metric. So just to give you an idea of what the effect is on your work, I've done some samples. So here is a sample on the Vlyceline there, and if you look on the back of it, you can see that the quilting is much further apart. You can leave up to 8 inches, 20 centimetres there. So on this particular sample, I've done stitch in the ditch, and I've only done down the main sections. I also chose to do the diamond as well because I think the quilting stitching brings out it accentuates the piecing that you've done, but it saves an awful lot of time if you don't have to do too much. This one is the Hobbs one, which has to be at a maximum of 8 centimetres. So you'll see here, if I show you the back of it, that this has got a lot more quilting in it. This is simple quilting, this just stitch in the ditch, but you can see I've stitched around all the shapes here, and there's a lot more work in it. But on the other hand, it really brings out the texture of the quilting, and it shows it up nicely. You can see, if you look closely, in parts I've done stitching in the ditch, but you can see the stitches. But because I've chosen a pale grey thread that doesn't show up too badly, I don't care. I'm not putting it into any competitions. It's a thing that's going to be used. So I think that's good for me. If I was putting it into a competition, I'd be more picky, but I'm not. It's for my own use. And then there's the final one. This one is the Warm and Natural, and this one recommends that you can actually use it for garments as well, but you can leave the stitching 10 inches apart, so that's 25 centimetres I think. And you can see here again, I've just done the quilting on the back, and there wasn't much to be done at all. So that's a huge time saver. The difference in the density of the quilting makes a difference. If you want something that's very hard wearing and it's going to go in the washing machine a lot, it's better if it's more closely quilted. If it's for a wall hanging, it's not so important because it's not going to get wear and tear. But a baby's cot quilt that's going to go in the wash a lot, it's better to be closely quilted.
This is what we were talking about earlier. This is the batting, the wadding that goes in quilts. This is the Vlyceline one. It's a huge roll for the size of it, and that's double. So you can see that's really quite wide. It feels so nice and soft. That doesn't come, I don't think that comes in lots of different sizes, but I'd buy that off the roll and then just use what I needed of it. Yeah, that is on the roll. Gosh, I'm going to have muscles when I finish with this. That's the Woman Natural. You can see it's a slightly different texture. This is smooth. The Vaseline is smooth, and this has got little speckles. I suspect that's what the natural bit about it is, but they don't. I've used this quite a lot, and they certainly don't affect how it wears. On this side, you can't see any. It's needle punched. It sticks together because needles go through it when they're manufacturing it. This is probably a more convenient way to buy it because this one is a queen size, which is, look, it says here, it's 90 by 108. And for those of you who speak foreign, it's in metric there. I can't read it upside down. And it comes, that's a small one. So if you were going to make a crib or a cot size, it would be more convenient to have that. This is the Hobbs Premium, which you can see if I pull it out. You can see it's slightly lighter weight because you can see an slight unevenness in it. But I really like this. I'll pull it on here. And it does feel lighter in the roll. So whilst we don't have the weight, the gram weight per metre, you can tell just by touching it that it is a little bit lighter. I need to try that. I haven't actually made a quilt with that, but that's probably going to be my next project, I think.